If you're an admin that everyone relies on, but you never get promoted, it might actually be your fault. And this isn't about blame. It's about the mentality that admin roles train us into that systematically keep us invisible. Because being good at admin work without understanding your worth means they don't have to pay you as much. Doing well at your job, staying on top of deadlines, and positively influencing the culture does not automatically lead to growth. In fact, sometimes being really, really good is exactly what traps you. If you've ever thought, my boss and team praised me for the work that I do, I've made a real difference at the office, I'm proud of what I've accomplished, but I still don't get opportunities to grow. My pay doesn't reflect my effort, and I just feel used. Why am I even still here? You are definitely not alone. This video will give you the insight into why this happens and how to start fixing it today. Most executives and upper management, they don't actually understand what admins do. The role is often minimized to answering phones, responding to emails, and fixing the printer. So when you step in like the baddie that you are, fixing broken systems, bringing order to chaos, building relationships, improving company culture, and making sure that everything runs smoother, everyone feels the difference right away. So you get the praise, you gain the trust, and you get more responsibility. But here's the quiet problem. The better you are at holding everything together, the less anyone imagines the organization without you in that exact seat. You become essential and static. This is where a lot of admins get stuck, not because they're failing, but because they're succeeding in a way that makes leadership, well, comfortable. If everything runs smoothly, no one feels the urgency to change the system. And if you get things done efficiently and effectively, leadership rarely sees the hours of research, years of experience, and constant learning required for you to do your job well, which means they don't fully see how much you're actually doing. Working as an admin in any field trains you to anticipate needs before they're spoken, smooth things over before they become a big deal, absorb the pressure without escalating it, prioritize others' urgencies over your own growth, and to be helpful instead of visible. These are powerful skills, don't get me wrong. They do take you far, but when they aren't paired with strategy, they can work against you. We're implicitly taught that the best administrators are the ones no one has to think about. So when leadership can rely on you to quietly handle everything behind the scenes, you stop being visible and start being overlooked. Over time, leadership becomes so confident in you and so dependent on your work, the perceived risk and replacement cost of promoting you feels like something they would way rather avoid. When you know all the systems, hold all the context, understand the rhythms, manage relationships no one else sees, and keep the metaphorical wheels from coming off, moving you, it feels downright scary. Not because you're not capable, but because no one has been forced to imagine the system without you. And honestly, you're probably reinforcing this without even realizing it. Think about it. When you do your job well, does leadership actually see what you're doing? Do they recognize what you're influencing, preventing issues, and protecting them from fallout? Or do they only notice when the Wi-Fi goes down? If you don't name your impact, no one has to look at it. But when you can identify why you're great at what you do, you gather the evidence on the impact that you've had, and you gain the language to communicate it confidently, not defensively, that's when things change. Helpful admins, sure, they solve problems, but strategic admins, they surface the patterns. Helpful admins react to their day. Strategic admins anticipate and name what's coming. Helpful admins say, don't worry, I've got it handled. But strategic admins say, here's what's happening, why it matters, and these are the action steps that I'm recommending. Leaders are overwhelmed. They're juggling so many decisions, a lot of pressure, and different priorities all day long. So when you stay in, I'll just take care of it mode, they feel relief and then immediately move on. But when you frame your work as insight, risk prevention, and leverage, you stop being a support function and start becoming a thought partner. Many admins, they never make this shift, often out of fear. Fear of overstepping, fear of being labeled as difficult, fear of losing the goodwill they've spent so long building, or of breaking those unspoken rules. Admin roles, they're really vague, very often misunderstood, and so full of invisible expectations. So we end up learning to survive instead of advocate for ourselves. Don't believe me yet? Go get drinks with an admin after work today. You're going to hear the same things come up that you're experiencing. Weird projects, shifting expectations, unrealistic timelines, an abundance of work, and watching leadership take credit for the work that they did. And if you suggest to ask for a raise or a promotion, they'll give you 10 thoughtful, very reasonable reasons why now isn't the right time, and that they're waiting for the perfect moment, or for their boss to be in a better mood, or when they accomplish just one or two or maybe 5 more big goals, even though none of those are good enough reasons that should be holding them back. Even when they want more, they hesitate, they wait to be asked, they sit and just hope that someone notices them. The hard truth, no one is going to notice. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So it's time you change how you show up. This isn't about being louder, it's not about complaining, and it is definitely not about calling out leadership. It's about becoming self-aware enough to name your value, confident enough to communicate it without defensiveness, and strategic enough to speak in a language leadership understands and trusts. That is the missing piece behind being valued but overlooked. Isn't it time you start influencing your career trajectory and not just the efficiency of the office? If you want help making that shift, hit that subscribe button right now. We're here to teach you the perspective, skills, and strategy to become the strategic operations partner whose work measurably improves business and gets noticed every time. If this resonated, hit that like button so other admins can find it too. And in the comments, tell me, now that you know, what are you going to do differently to meet your full potential? Thanks for watching until the end. I'm Shelby, this is Fernway Foundations, and I'll see you next time.